This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. Joining us this morning is Captain Joe Schilling with the Kirksville Fire Department to talk about car seat safety. How are you doing this morning?
Good, and you?
Doing well. So we were just talking about how it is the Car Safety Month.
Yep,
And,
National Car Safety Month.
National Car Safety Month. And can you go over what happened on Saturday?
We had a checkup event called National Check Seat Saturday. We started that at Kirksville Motors last year, and we did it again this year. They come out and they have a big event. They have hot dogs and free pop, but then we use their garage and pull people in and do car seat checks. And it was pretty good success. We got a lot of information out, had several people stop by and put some stuff on Facebook showing that we were doing the checks. And it's just basically to get out and get people understanding and realizing that our most precious possession is our kids, and that we need to do what's right for them when they're on the vehicle, in a vehicle on the road.
When you're saying car seat checks, what are you actually looking for?
Well, basically right now, national average is 80% of all car seats are basically in wrong.
You're kidding.
No. Even with all the education and stuff we have, we're still seeing around an 80% misuse. Whether it's the way it's put in the vehicle, the way the kid is in the actual car seat. A lot of parents and people don't know there's 4 checks that you can always do on an internal car seat when you put your kid in there. These have to be forward facing, at or above the shoulders, these harness straps.
Oh, okay.
If they're in backwards, at or below, this has to be at the armpit level. These need to be tight enough you can't pinch them when they're over their shoulder, and that you need to have the crotch snug. And there's always different slots, and a lot of people don't know they can adjust the slots on these.
Oh, interesting. So it might be too loose.
You've got to make them tight, because if not, they slide down, and then these get a gap, so it allows for ejection. And when they eject, not only can they kill themselves and hurt themselves, but they can also hurt anybody else that's in the interior of the vehicle, because when they start throwing around, they're just an object. So, these are things, knowing that the headrests are in the right place.
Right.
When they go to a seat belt, making sure that their seat belt's in the right place at their shoulder, not up on their neck, cutting on them, or down over their shoulder. And so there's so many things that go into this. And then we have, the new latch system, which all the vehicles have. But they need to understand that they have a weight limit. They only go up to 65 pounds with the seat and the child, not just the child. So the weight limit's on that, not using them after they get to that weight. There's several different things, and the Kirksville Fire Department, all my guys are technicians, are car seat technicians. We've been that for several years now, and we do the checks, and we just want to tell people, come in there and see us. Come, if you have any questions, come by and let us check your car seat.
Sure.
And make sure that it's in there right, because I've seen both sides of it. I've seen the ones that haven't been in there right, and what it does to the child. And fatalities are really bad, but it's the life-changing injuries that create a real huge problem. They're the biggest part of the problem. And I've seen it when they've been in there right, and I've seen the kid walk away without a scratch or hardly any bruises. So we just want to take this month to make people understand, when you're going to take your child in a vehicle, take that extra 30 seconds to a minute to make sure they're put in there right, the car seat's right, so that you arrive safely and your child has an opportunity to become an adult.
Now, with the numbers so high, 80% of them not being installed correctly, are there high numbers of accidents where the child is injured and that you know of?
Yeah, we have the life-changing injuries. The fatalities are bad, like I said, but the life-changing injuries are like an iceberg. The fatalities are the tip that you see above the water.
Sure.
The injuries are the bottom base that's really wide and big and you can't see. And there's national statistics out there. You can go to NHTSA website to see those. You can go to saferkids.org to see those. But you need to understand that that's just the main importance, is just to make sure you take that extra 30 seconds. I know you may be saying, I'm just going down to the store 2 blocks, or I'm going a mile, and they can just sit in the seat. And that's where those happen. All accidents happen within 2 miles of our home. So you need to understand that you got to take that little bit of extra time to put them in there right. And then once you do that, as they grow up, maintain it.
Yeah.
Because what we have is, when people are putting them in the car seats, they're not too bad about trying to do that all the time.
Sure.
But once the kid starts getting in and out on their own, and they got a booster seat, or they're supposed to be putting their seatbelt on, they start getting a little lackadaisical, and we need to make sure we're re-emphasizing the importance of that.
Right, and then I know this might have changed, but what is the age or the weight? You said 65?
Yeah, basically you got to be rear facing in a vehicle until you're 2 years old or to the maximum height and weight limit of your seat. You got to be in a seat that has an internal harness until you're 40 pounds or 4 years old.
Yep.
And then you have to be in some type of child restraint system seat until you're either 8 years old, 80 pounds,
Is
or
that right?
4'9" tall.
8.
And then you're not even supposed to be riding in the front seat until you're 13.
Oh, okay.
And there's a lot of people that put their kids in the front seat, and they don't understand the airbags that come out of there when you
not.
have them come out at over 200 mile an hour.
Yeah.
You're not really developed enough to take, and your body's smaller, so you can hit the head, your face can hit into the airbag it's deploying. So we try to tell people, don't put your child, I know they want to sit in the front, but don't put them there until they're developed enough to do it, and which is at 13.
All right. Well, thank you. Lots of useful information, and I really appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We'll be sure to post all this information on our website at ktvo.com. We'll be right back.